What's up everybody, welcome back to another Respawnables video. This is part 5 of my all weapons in multiplayer series. In this part we're going to start things off playing with the Black-Naga. This weapon is incredibly difficult to play with, so let's see how I do. Before we get started, I have to say, just like all the other parts in this series, the gameplay you're about to see has been recorded a few years ago now, before the multiplayer shutdown that took place in January of 2022. So this is old footage. You can no longer play the multiplayer. Don't ask me how I'm still able to play the multiplayer mode. I am not. You cannot play the multiplayer anymore. You can only play missions, which I've been doing quite a bit as of late, and it's a lot of fun. So we're getting into Nocturnal Snowfall here with the Black-Naga, and unfortunately I did not get a lot of map variety in this video, so most of the weapons you're going to see today are going to be on this map, Nocturnal Snowfall. There's only one weapon that I got on a different map, and that game was actually glitched, so we didn't even stay the whole match. And you're about to see that as well a little later on in this video. So we're here with the Black-Naga, and we actually got quite a few kills with this gun, which is surprising because this weapon is absolutely trash. It's one of the worst weapons in the entire game. It doesn't have any auto-aim, which makes it very difficult to hit enemies. And it's just very finicky with the aiming because one little millimeter off, you're going to completely miss your target. And you're going to see me kind of struggling here once again. You have to kind of sidestep to line up a shot, and even then you will miss quite often because as soon as you hit the trigger, your gun is always going to naturally move just a little bit, and that makes you end up missing the shots. So once again, I have to sidestep there in order to get the guy. And even against enemies who are standing still like this guy, I'm still really struggling to get the kill. And I didn't even end up killing this guy, I think. You know, somebody else kills him. But we still got quite a few kills with this gun, which is surprising just because of how terrible it is. But most of my kills were against enemies like this who are just standing still. We got a nice headshot right there. And I think we're going to end up shooting this guy in the back right here. And that's actually a nice kill because that was against a moving target. So that was a lot more of a difficult shot. We're going to get a couple more right here. Final kill being this bunny rabbit who also started using the gun. Little did he know that he equipped the worst weapon in the entire game. So I think that was my last kill. I'm going to try to get a couple more here, but this guy's spawn shield hadn't run out yet. And then this guy's going to step out of my crosshairs. Once again, no auto aim. And Mr. Zombie's going to kill us here with the dual flare gun. So let's move on to the DV Carbine. And the Black-Naga and DV Carbine are the two Mexican weapons that were released in 2016. In the previous video, we covered the 2015 Mexican weapons, and these are the 2016 ones. DV Carbine is a much better weapon than Black-Naga, by the way, but I think this was maybe my first or second time playing with it, so I didn't do a great job. Now, the footage you're about to see with the following weapons is a lot better than the first couple weapons that I'm playing with right here. I'm going to try to kill Mr. Zombie again, but he ends up hiding behind the tree. So now me and him are going to have a little battle here besides the wagon. And this is actually going to take quite a little bit. So I'm not going to spoil who kills who here, but he ends up hitting me right there with his gun, or not with his gun, with his weapon right there. And we end up killing each other at the same time. And that was the final weapon that was added to the game, by the way. So it's going to be a long time before you see me playing with that. So now we swap to the Outlaw Revolver. Very fun weapon to play with. Love this handgun. It's very fun. This was introduced during the Fastest Gunslinger update along the other handguns you're going to see in today's part. And we just start dominating here at the end of the match. We get a lot of kills. Once again, mostly against enemies who are just standing still, but still very fun. And that guy's our final kill. So let's move on to the next handgun, which is the Silver Wolf. Unfortunately, still the same map, Nocturnal Snowfall, but it is what it is. And I'm going to get a kill here against this guy, CR7. He ends up killing me too, but I thought that the Silver Wolf deserved a little bit more playing time, so we stick with it here. Going to try to kill somebody through the window, but this guy from my own team is kind of getting in my way. We end up killing a guy, 90, and he's going to actually cause us a lot of trouble in a future match, which you'll see later on in the video. Trying to kill this guy with his spawn shield, but I didn't realize that he was using the sniper rifle, so he was just able to line up a shot and hit me right in the head. So we got a couple kills with the Silver Wolf. Now let's move on to the pocket pistol. This was the top event weapon of the Fastest Gunslinger event, and we're going to get a kill with this guy, on this guy right here, full health. and we end up killing him. So yeah, we move on right away to the Zapper. This weapon was introduced during the Soccer Madness update of 2016, and this might also be the first time that I used this gun as well, because if you remember, I talked more about this in the previous part. During the last Respawn update, you could purchase every gun for just a single cash. And I think I probably bought this. I might have bought this during a deal. So this may not have been the very first time I played with this gun, but one of the first times. Very cool animations. Also, the Outlaw Revolver we played with previously also has some very cool animations. For instance, the shooting animation with that gun, I don't think they used that animation ever since it was released. So, and the Zapper also has a pretty cool, unique animation with the reload. The reload animation on this gun is pretty cool. So we killed a bunch of noobs using sniper rifles there, and now they're also going to start using the Zapper, and we end up dying to CR7 right there using the Paw, which is, I would actually say that's the most overpowered weapon in the entire game. So we move on now to the air cannon, which was the top event weapon of the Soccer Madness event, and it looks kind of similar to the bazooka, but it's more comparable to the thumper. So you're going to get a lot of one-shot kills. We do end up killing this guy, by the way, with the weapon. I just wanted to show you that. But it has less damage than thumper. It also has a smaller blast radius, so it's definitely not as good as the thumper, but it is still a pretty good weapon. So we move on now to the Proton Shotgun. We already covered a couple Ghostbusters weapons in a previous video, but we unfortunately got no kills using those guns. We used the Proton guns, but we do end up getting a kill with the Proton Shotgun, which is not a lot better, by the way. In fact, I would say Proton Gun is a better gun than this one. Proton Shotgun is just not very good at all. The projectiles are pretty weak, and they also travel very slowly. So let's move on to a much better weapon now, the Blaster. And by the way, if you wanted to get the 2016 Ghostbusters weapons, the Proton Gun Generation 3 included, you had to spend real-life money, so you couldn't win them in the event, or you couldn't buy them with cash or gold. You had to spend real-life money. And they were extra expensive because these are movie-licensed weapons as well, so... But yeah, we're at the Blaster. Very good weapon. And we got a few kills with that gun as well. Now let's move on to the Dual Blasters, which... It's pretty interesting that those look entirely different from the single blaster. I don't necessarily know why. Maybe that's explained in the Ghostbusters movie. I have not watched that movie. I don't even know if these guns appear in that movie, but maybe some of you have seen that movie, you can tell me. So now we move on to the final Ghostbusters weapon that I have, which is the Proton Glove. And as you can see, we're playing in Frozen Bay now, but this is actually a glitched match, where the enemies are kind of skipping around and kind of outside of the map, as you can see right there. So we are not going to stick in this match very long. We're going to move on. And unfortunately, that does mean that we will return to Nocturnal Snowfall. But yeah, there is one more Ghostbusters weapon that I do not own, and I think that's the Slime Blower, which was added to the game in 2019. All of these Ghostbusters weapons were added during the 2016 Ghostbusters update, which was one of the worst updates in the entire game, by the way. So yeah, we got a kill there with the Proton Glove. Let's move on now to the Triple Barrel Gatling, as I said, back in Nocturnal Snowfall. And this weapon here, the Triple Barrel Gatling, is a very fun gun. It was introduced during the 2016 Summer Camp update, and it is actually more powerful than the minigun. It kills enemies slightly faster, but unlike the minigun, this gun only holds 50 rounds. The minigun, of course, holds 200 rounds. We played with that in the last video. And it also has the same reload speed as a minigun, so you do end up reloading more with this gun, which is a big disadvantage. But still, I do prefer it over something like the armed guitar case. I guess I'm just not really that much of a fan of heavy machine guns with a slower fire rate. So I'm more of a fan of weapons like this or minigun, which have a faster fire rate. Still though, just because a heavy machine gun has a fast fire rate, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna like it. I mean, take a look at the Siege Cannon, which we played with in a previous part. That gun has a fast fire rate, but you move around so slow that I really don't enjoy playing with that gun at all, as well as the accuracy while moving is absolutely atrocious, so the minigun and triple barrel Gatling are a lot better in that regard. So now we're on to the heavy Shatterer, which was the top event weapon from the 2016 summer camp, and this one is very different. It is absolutely extremely powerful at close range, as you can see there, 2 shots to kill. Whereas mid-range, you're going to probably shoot enemies for 4 or 5 shots in order to kill them, and long range, this gun is no good at all. It can't even hit people at long range, but a very, very powerful close range weapon. As you can see right there, another 2-shot kill. And we move on right away to the next top event weapon from the Grenade Fest from 2016. This is the automatic grenade launcher. And it's very different from the standard grenade launcher, the original grenade launcher. As you can see, this gun has 30 rounds, whereas the grenade launcher only holds 6. But the grenades are very different. These deal a lot less damage, but they explode faster. And they are also a lot more bouncy, which makes it kind of difficult to hit people with it. And the gun is overall just a piece of poop. So let's move on right away to the Incinerator. This was the first fire weapon that was ever added to the game, and it also has a slowing effect when you hit people with it, but it does not have any burning effect, sort of like the zombie Incinerator or the burning handgun. So it's got nothing like that, and it is a very fun weapon to play with. It doesn't have any crosshairs, which is interesting. But we move on now to the RAKT assault rifle, which is very, very good. Actually better than the Stig rifle, but not quite as good as something like the Rainbow Zen or Battle Ram, which are a lot more overpowered than this gun. This gun definitely is overpowered in my opinion, but you know, those other 2 guns are definitely something else. And we almost die right there due to that guy with the poison, but luckily the timer ran out. And now we're back here in Nocturnal Snowfall for the 4th and final time. And now we're using the Gatling Punch, which was the 2016 Road to Glory's final event weapon. And it's actually pretty similar to something like the SMG Howling. It's a machine gun that's best suited in between mid and close range. I would say this one is slightly better than the SMG Howling, which we played with previously as well. This one, I think, has slightly worse auto aim. But yeah, I really like the Gatling Punch. It's a very powerful weapon, and you move around fast also, which I appreciate. And as you can see right here, 90 is in this match. As I alluded to earlier, he's going to cause us a lot of trouble because he's using the Fire Spitter, which is just ridiculously overpowered at close range. I do think we end up killing him right here, though. And he's also using the Raid Hulk combined with the Medikits, which give him a speed boost. So he's using an overpowered gun, overpowered armor. So I'm actually going to try to avoid him a little bit. Trying to get another kill there with the Gatling Punch, but I get sucked into a Twister. So let's move on to the next weapon, but I think I didn't get it in time. No, I didn't. So we're stuck here with the Gatling Punch, and we pick up one more kill against CR7, who's using the Splatter Shotgun. So let's move on to the next weapon, which is the Ghost Cannon, the first of the 2016 Halloween guns. And I really, really like the Ghost Cannon. It's extremely powerful. It's more powerful than the Thumper or Dragon's Breath cannon, but it does have a more standard blast radius similar to the bazooka or grenade launcher. As you know, Dragon's Breath and Thumper have a larger blast radius. But yeah, very powerful. Look at those one-shot kills. The shots do also curve down more than Thumper shots, so range is a little bit hard to get used to with this gun. But yeah, we move on to the next Halloween gun, which is the Burial Shotguns. And I like these even more than the Ghost Cannon, because they fit a little bit more my playing style. And they're very powerful, also super cool design. The animations are great with those guns as well. So I really, really like the Burial Shotguns. And once again, we have arrived at the top event weapon, the Night Screech from the Spooky Nights event. And this handgun is pretty similar to the pocket pistol or the blaster. I would say maybe it's actually more similar to the Outlaw Revolver. And, you know, you've seen all those weapons before, so make your own judgment. I would say it's pretty overpowered, though. And we pick up a few kills with the Night Screech. Let's move on to the next gun, which is the Veteran Machine Gun. And we picked up a kill right away, but 90 kills us, so I decided to, just like with the Silver Wolf, and I think the Ghost Cannon as well, to give this gun just a little bit more playing time. But yeah, this gun, the Veteran Machine Gun, was introduced during the 2016 Soldiers Graduation update. And 2016 really added a lot of assault weapons into the game, I noticed. You know, you started off the year with the Monkey's Rifle, Rainbow Zen, and JP Beck. But yeah, a lot of assault weapons were added to the game in 2016. And yeah, this one's maybe slightly unbalanced. I don't think it's quite as OP as something like RAKT Assault Rifle or Rainbow Zen, but still a very powerful weapon. And then the final weapon for today is going to be the Atarot Handgun or Atarot Handgun. Not sure how you pronounce it, but it is a very overpowered gun. It's actually more powerful than the Silver Wolf. I do prefer the Silver Wolf because this gun is not very accurate. You end up missing quite a few shots with it. But we do pretty well with it here at the end of the match. We're going to pick up a few more kills with it. So yeah, in the next part we're going to start things off playing with the Double Barrel Machine Gun, the top event weapon. Thank you for watching part 5, and I'll see you in part 6.